The opening story of this film says that 1050 years ago, Gudbrand, a Viking chieftain, and his warriors set sail on 20 ships and headed to Normandy. During the attack, they discovered a secret room in a bay. Despite the monks' pleas not to enter it, the Vikings killed everyone and forced their way into the locked room. However, the room had no treasures inside but a single baby wolf. The Vikings took the wolf with them and sailed back to Norway, but they didn't know that they had unchained the Hound of Hell. Unexpectedly, the Vikings were all found dead in a mysterious way on their ships, and the baby wolf found its way to the deep Nordic woods, where it has never been found since then. 1,000 years have now passed. And the film introduces us to Nybo town and the new family, which has just moved in from Sweden. The husband is named Arthur, along with his stepdaughter Tala and the youngest, deaf and mute Jenny. Tala receives a message from her boyfriend, Jonas, reminding her about the party at the bay in the evening. Tala gets excited, gets her canned drinks from the freezer into the bag, and heads out after informing her stepdad that she's going out to meet her school friends. Outside the house, Tala comes across her mother, Liv, the police officer. She doesn't stop her from going, but she advises her daughter not to come back home late. Tala rides her bicycle through the villages, hoping to explore this new place with the help of Jonas. Now that she has a new boyfriend, he introduces her to his friends, but Jonas' ex-girlfriend Ellen, the mayor's daughter, seems not to like his idea to bring the new girl to the camping party. She then takes Jonas away from Tala to have a private conversation. Alone, Tala feels out of place, so she gets her refreshments and drinks alone. Other boys tease her, gossiping about Tala's family and asking why they moved to Nybo from Sweden. Tala feels unfit in them. She just decides to head out and go for a walk without getting disturbed. Arthur kisses his mute daughter to sleep and wishes her a good night using sign language. Tala keeps moving along the bridge looking for her boyfriend. Suddenly, she hears someone screaming, and when she turns around, she sees Ellen motionless, lying down on the riverside covered in blood. Then she runs down to try to help Ellen stand up, and immediately they get attacked from behind by the mysterious creature. Strikes Tala with its hoof on the shoulder. Ellen is pulled and dragged into the woods before their eyes by the monster. She can't do anything but scream in terror. Moments later, paramedics and police officers are called to rescue and investigate the crime scene. The sheriff, Harold, briefs Liv about the situation, stating that the mayor's daughter Ellen is the only girl missing and that her daughter Tala is also among the survivors. Liv goes to her daughter to ask what has happened. Tala can't help because she's still too shocked and traumatized to explain what she has experienced. Helen's broken mobile is found in the woods, just a few steps from where the incident occurred. And Liv discovers the animal's claw is broken and stuck in the broken tree trunk. Sometime later, at Nybo High School, the police sheriff and his deputies gather the students who were at the party last night and ask questions one by one about the incident. Unfortunately, the majority have no clue about the questions because they were too drunk to recall the incident. Nevertheless, Tala tells the two officers that she heard the roars of a mysterious animal like a dog, but since it was too dark, she didn't see the animal. Liv takes Tala home from school, and when she is conducting the research using the crawl she picked from the crime scene, she learns it matches the wolf's claw but is larger than normal. Then she calls her superior, requesting a hunting team to hunt the wild beast down. However, the sheriff advised against her idea, claiming it's off the book and too expensive, which disappoints Liv. The following morning, Liv receives a phone call from Harold that Ellen's body has eventually been found, and he needs her prompt arrival at the mortuary. The team found Ellen's body half a mile from the scene. The autopsy doctor points out that these wounds are too big to be coming from a regular-sized wolf. The doctor gives Liv the contact information of a certain person, saying that he's an expert when it comes to predatory animals. The mayor wants to positively identify her daughter's body, but since Ellen's corpse is in an unrecognizable state, the officers persuaded her and stopped her from entering the examination room before sobbing in Harold's arms. Thales comes back to the bridge where she was standing the other night. However, she sees Ellen in the woods calling her and disappears at the same moment. Tala becomes terrified and rides off her bicycle to leave the area. Professor William of the Norwegian School of Veterinary Science is contacted and requested by the Department of Police to offer help in their investigation, examine the dead body's wounds, and determine if it is a wolf or other predator using his expertise. The following morning, a man named Las Pradine goes to the police station and informs Clark that he has vital information on the ongoing investigations for the police chief. He informs Liv about the lycanthropes. The kind of beast they are looking for is actually a werewolf. He has hunted it for decades, but his efforts have been fruitless so far. The police officer doesn't believe any story about it and thinks it's a Viking myth, and she orders the old man to move out of her office. The old man reveals his address to her just on the camping ground if they ever need his help in hunting the werewolf. He gives her a silver bullet, pointing out that it's the only thing that could kill the mutated wolf. Jonas meets Tala at the Din Pizza place that afternoon and apologizes for dragging her into Ellen's incident. As she tries to leave, Tala comes across boys outside who were also at the party last time. They blame her for not saving their friend Ellen, and they also make fun of her wound on the shoulder, saying that she might get rabies and infect everyone. Tala feels demeaned and immediately runs to the bathroom to check on it. Liv sees the daughter's wound not getting any better. Then she suggests they need to get it checked by the doctor. However, the conversation shifts to Tala's late father, which makes her angry and run away. Tala has started to experience weird dreams. She sees her body floating on the water. The veterinary expert, William, arrives at the hospital for an autopsy body examination. He is now convinced and has come to the conclusion that the bite marks and the claw are definitely for a wolf, but a larger one. The police sheriff decides to get the permit, taking more men, and the journalists go after it in the mountains. Tala feels weird as her senses start to get heightened. She hears the voices and sounds of everything from all sides. Suddenly, when her classmate looks back at her, she sees the illusion that her classmate has the teeth of a werewolf growling at her. Feels embarrassed in front of everyone and runs to the restroom. Once again, she hears Ellen's voice crying in the toilet and screaming at Tala, blaming her for her death. Traumatized, Tala runs away until she collapses on the field, sobbing on the ground. The hunters are horrified when they discover the corpse of a man in the woods. The group of hunters was separated into 3 pairs. Liv and the others discover the abandoned mining shaft. Since no one from the men is willing to do it, Liv decides to go climb down to check it. The wolf shows up, attacks the first pair and eliminates them. Their screams are heard by the other hunters guarding outside the shaft, who reload their weapons. But the wolf arrives just in time to kill the remaining hunters. The journalist gets frightened before falling to his death in the cave. The wolf comes face to face with Liv. Unfortunately, the latter is too old to withstand her. She falls down and breaks her hand. Liv uses the uninjured hand to shoot it multiple times, but it just keeps on coming. Luckily, she loads and shoots the silver bullet, killing it on the spot. Moments later, in the hospital, Liv survived with a broken hand, while the sheriff is in comatose condition because of the severe injuries following the attack. The mayor comes to the hospital to meet Officer Liv and appears on television, thanking her for her great work and reassuring the public that the monster has been killed and the threat has been eliminated. That night, Jenny wakes up, and when she looks through the window, she realizes that Tala is staring at her with her eyes wide open from outside the house. Jenny follows and brings her sister back to the house. Tala, who turns out to be sleepwalking, wakes up and tells Jenny that she's super tired and all her joints are painful. Jenny promises to always look after her whenever she needs help. The following day, Liv visits Nibo Agriculture College to meet William, who's examining the dead wolf's body. His study shows him that the silver bullet killed it despite taking a number of bullets. The silver bullet dissolved the wolf's body tissue, which resulted in its death. William finds the broken claw clearly matching the one that was found on the scene. Liv knows that her daughter was injured by the wolf, and her condition is severe. She feels feverish and shaky. Liv suggests to William that they should visit Pradine, who provided her with silver bullets. He shows them his research about these creatures. Liv asks what will happen if someone is bitten and how fast the infection starts to spread. Pradine informs them that a person infected by the werewolf will have their senses heightened, and he will transform until their wolf form finally takes over his humanity and he can't reverse the structure. The only solution is to hunt everything in its bloodline to make it vanish. Thales receives a text from Jonas asking for a hangout. She sneakily moves out in the darkness to meet her boyfriend. As they start enjoying their evening, Jonas receives a phone call from his dad and interrupts them. The full moon appears, and Tala's body starts to transform into a werewolf. Jonas hears weird struggling voices when he comes to check, and now the wolf attacks and takes him down. The next day, Tala wakes up in the abandoned house, and when she throws up a piece of fresh, she becomes horrified and realizes her face has already shifted into that of a werewolf. Liv receives a call about Jonas' death. She meets Professor William, who confirms that the wounds are the same as those found in Ellen's body, but the gap between the teeth is smaller in the bite marks. This means that there is another young werewolf out there. The old man disguises himself as a doctor and goes to Harold's room, and when he checks the wound, he gets worried that he might turn into a werewolf, so he kills him by cutting off the oxygen. Thales' condition has worsened, so she decides to leave Nibo village for Oslo by bus. On their journey, the full moon appears. Tala starts to transform again into a werewolf and attacks everyone in the bus, causing the bus to turn over under the Nibo tunnel. Liv receives the information and goes to the scene. The survivors run away, shouting that there is a monstrous creature in the bus. When she entered the bus, she found her daughter's wrecked clothes on the seats. William arrives and reveals his discovery to her, but she already knows that it's her daughter. Jenny is approached by Tala, now the wolf, but instead of attacking her, it calms down. That moment Arthur enters the room and beats her with a lamp and electrodes it before running outside with Jenny to escape using the car. But Hess injured on his arm, and he loses too much blood in the process. Losing consciousness, the car crashes into the road barrier. Arthur tells Jenny to run and hide before he collapses. People come outside from the bar to check on the accident, but saddeningly, Tala appears on the roof and attacks everyone. Liv receives reports through the radio about the bar attack by the wolf. Many are dead and several are nursing wounds. Jenny has already acknowledged that this is her sister, so she approaches the wolf and tries to calm her down. She promised to take care of her. At that moment, Liv and William arrive and shoot the wolf with an tranquilizer. Liv picks Jenny up and runs into the store to hide. Las Pradine arrives with a high-speed track to knock the wolf down. Unfortunately, he missed it. Tala attacks and kills Las Pradine before jumping outside to attack Liv. The police officer shouts for help from William and begs him to shoot the tranquilizer. Unfortunately, William is already down, and he's too badly injured to help himself stand up. However, Jenny runs so fast to stab the wolf with the last tranquilizer that she falls down. Jenny runs and tearfully hugs her mother on the ground. Moments later, Liv comes to the laboratory, where the wolf is now kept. She reloads the silver bullet in her pistol and points it at the wolf to finish it off. In the last part of the movie, Liv drove home, thinking about her daughter. Then she placed the last silver bullet in front of Tala's photo. This brings the movie to an end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more of my videos. Have a good day.